Coming up tonight on Season Pass, Central was off this week but had some big news regarding district play, where they now sit at 2-1 instead of 1-2. District 3A Division II provided all sorts of fireworks on Friday night. Wall welcomed in number 1 ranked Jim Ned. It was homecoming for the Angelo State Rams against UTPB. Cowboys took on New England. The Stars were up in Canada taking on the Senators. Welcome to Season Pass. I'm your host, Ryan Campo, for Week 8 of the high school football season, plus some Angelo State athletics, the NFL, and a whole bunch more. Grab some popcorn, kick back. Let's have some fun for the next 30 minutes. Let's start out with arguably the biggest news of the week, that Friendship had to forfeit their win against Central. A week before Friendship and Central played, the Tigers faced Amarillo High when in the fourth quarter, one of their players was wrongfully ejected after the referees believed he received a second unsportsmanlike penalty. The ejection was never officially submitted to the UIL, and so the player was on the field against the Bobcats. The UIL determined that Friendship did not exercise sufficient diligence to determine the eligibility of the student athlete in question. It's still not clear how the allegations came about 3 weeks after the game. When asked, SAISD Athletic Director Rodney Chant did not respond. Central, though, now 2-1 in District 2-6A. And now we start the highlight portion of the show, and we start in an unusual place. 3A Division II, because two teams ended up being big surprises on Friday night. Bulldogs trying to look to get one step closer to their district title for the first time in 2009. Broncos looking to get back to the ways of old. Defensive showdown early on. Second quarter, Hayden Barnett rolling to his right, throws a laser, and that's picked off by Fernando Gonzalez. Goes to the corner of the return. That's a pick six. Broncos on top 8-0 after a 2-point conversion. Bulldogs would answer back under 4 to play in the half. Zeke Jones takes the toss around the outside. Beats the Broncos defense. Sonora still up by 8-7. Broncos in the red zone, though. Read option. It's Jamie Buttran. Decides to keep it. That's the right decision through the Bulldog defense. Sonora takes a 14-7 lead into the halftime. Broncos are going to knock off Brady 28-22. Sonora stays perfect in district play. How about the other unbeaten team in the district? Great Creek hosting Ballinger. Eagles looking to prove they belong in the district title conversation. Picking it up in the second, Eagles already up 6-0. Check out this run by Isaiah Briones. The direct snap bounces off a tackle, makes his guy miss. He's in for a Great Creek touchdown. 12-0 going to the half. Third quarter, Ballinger clawing its way back. Briley Clinton fakes the handoff, finds Blake Coleman wide open, walks in for the touchdown. 12-6. Later in the quarter, Great Creek moving downfield. It's Briones again. Check out the amount of broken tackles he gets in for the touchdown. 20-6 Great Creek. And how about this? The Eagles take down Ballinger 20-13 for their first win over Ballinger since 2016. Our game of the week from Friday was the Coke County rivalry, the oldest and closest rivalry in the entire Concho Valley. Robert Lee enters with a 1-win advantage over Brant, but as the Longhorns are hosting, they would love to even the wins at 51 apiece. The 106th meeting between the two took place on Friday. The Coke County rivalry renewed in Brant. Robert Lee would strike first. Michael Munoz finds Ivan Escamilla open in the end zone, steers up 8-0 after the extra point. Brant would respond, however. Jayton Galvin looking, finds Spencer Smith in the corner of the end zone, and just like that, we're all tied up at 8 apiece. Longhorns looking for the lead. It's Galvin with the quick throw, finds Brandon Baum, the big fella. The big man gets himself a touchdown. Brant led at halftime, and they get the win, 38-16 over Robert Lee. And how about the other ranked team in 1A division from the Concho Valley? I'm talking about them Water Valley Wildcats. They were in Very Best on Friday, trying to make it 8 in a row. Same district. Very Best hosting Water Valley. Wildcats on the board. First, Cannon Weiss takes the pitch, goes to the outside. It's 8-0. Cannon gets another one. He takes the pitch, lowers his shoulder, gets into the end zone. The Wildcats another. It's Nathan Treadaway. Takes the handoff, and he gets into the end zone. Water Valley rolling. And how about another? Chris Burleson takes the pitch. He gets to the end zone. Water Valley picks up another mercy rule. 67-0. 1A Division I, Irion County hosting Paint Rock. Disaster for the Tribe early. Irion recovers the opening kickoff. First play on offense. Koffel finds Bo Merle for the opening score, 6-0. After a 3-and-out, Hornets back on offense. Koffel finds Jordan Harrison, takes it in for yet another Hornets touchdown. Just like that, it's 14-0. Hornets back on offense. Koffel finds Eli Davis. Third different Hornet finding the end zone on the evening for Erie and County. And how about a fourth? Isaiah Dutchover takes the pitch and fights his way into the end zone. This one over at halftime. Erie and County gets their first district win, 49-0. 6-1, Sterling City taking on Highland in District 8, 1A, Division I. Eagles remain unbeaten with the victory. Blackwell and Abilene TLCA meeting in District 2. Hornets win big, 60-7. And Trent picks up a win, number 1 in District 6, 1A over Olfen. Coming up next on Season Pass, we continue our high school football review. Stick around. We'll be right back.
It's a nice truck.
Yeah, it's a Chevy Silverado. Check out this multi-flex tailgate.
Multi-flex, huh? Wow.
Comes a step.
Mom, Dad's flexing again.
That's not all. You can extend the bed for longer stuff.
Is he still
flexing?
That's right. And it becomes a workspace. You can put your laptop here. I'm sending an imaginary email.
Hey, Dad, dinner!
Hey, look who stopped by Daddy's office.
Wait, you work here?
The Chevy Silverado with the available multi-flex tailgate. Find new flexibility, find new roads. Chevrolet.
Howdy, folks. Joe Theismann here. Listen, during these unprecedented times...
College football is back! Woo! That's right. Fansville is back. So get out your gear and slip on your finest foam finger. Put the Dr. Peppers on ice and get ready for Fansville's return to glory. Because this year, the fans are back. Dr. Pepper, the one fans deserve.
The El Dorado Game Association invites you to their annual Hunters Appreciation Dinner, November 6th at 6:30. McGowan's Barbecue will be served at $10 a plate, and a raffle will follow the meal. The donations are $1 each. Prizes include over 80 guns, pistols, hunting accessories, high-end coolers, gift cards, and loads of other prizes. There will be special gun auctions and gun boards, and the grand prize is a 2021 CF Moto C4 600 ATV. For more information, go to eldoradogame.org.
You can't buy a best friend. You can love them, pet them, care for them, whether they want you to or not. You can take a picture, you can jump, yell, you can fly to the moon, travel the world, or just stay in bed. You can't buy a best friend like that, but you can adopt one. 'Cause we're connected.
Welcome back. Let's hop on over to 3A Division I for number 1 Jim Ned versus Wall. Last season, this game determined the district champion, and more than likely that would be the case this season. Could the Hawks slow down Xavier Weichert and keep the ball away from the Indians' offense? Revenge game for Wall, and the Indians entered the Hawks' 9-year district title streak last season. Jim Ned riding a 20-game win streak. Picked things up in the first. Jim Ned up 3-0. Hawks respond. Gabe Haskins muscles his way in for the touchdown. Wall their first lead of the night at 7-3. To the second, Indians with the ball. Tate Yardley finds Troy Dorian in the end zone. Jim Ned regains the lead just like that, 9-7. Wall was in this game, but things started to domino from here on. Fumble. Jim Ned would recover. That led to an Indian touchdown. Jim Ned not done after that moment right there. Minute and a half later in the half, Xavier Weichert shows why he's so dangerous. Up 23-7. The Indians are at the break. They didn't slow down at the second half. First win in Wall for Jim Ned since 2008, 37-20. Staying in 3A Division I, TLCA hosting Clyde. Both teams looking for their first win of the season. Things go the Bulldogs' way right from the get-go. Opening kickoff. Axton Fish on the return. Wall off of blockers in front of him. He's gone. Clyde scoring just starting. First TLCA for play from scrimmage. Sterling Harding goes left, tries to make a play, coughs up the football, and the Bulldogs would recover. And just a couple plays later, Austin Hastings punches it in. Bulldogs up 13, still over 9 minutes to play in the first quarter. Next TLCA possession. Harding with the keeper. Again, the ball comes loose. Clyde recovers it. Bulldogs having everything go their way. A couple plays later, Clyde dials up to trickery. The reverse, Pedro comes up with racing against the corner, bounces off an Eagle for the touchdown. That made it 20-0 Bulldogs. Clyde wins this one easily, 61-22, pick up their first win of the season. To Ozona, Lions looking for their first district win. Center Point in town. Lions were making on a mission. First quarter, Matthew De La Garza makes two guys miss in the backfield, breaks a tackle, shifts past one more, and he's gone. Ozona 7-0 after the extra point. Ahead into the second, Lions rolling in Pirate territory off a turnover. Charles Childress drops back. Rainbow pass to Max Everett. They don't ask how, they ask how many. That's a touchdown right there. Ozona 27-0. Lions not done in the first half. Hudson Fowler now at quarterback. Quick drop back, dials one to Everett in the end zone. Ozona up 33-0 at half, and they cruise on to win 53-6. A showdown in District 14 2A Division 1, 6-1 Harper hosting 5-1 Mason. Both teams 1-0 in district play. Mason comes out with the dominant victory on Friday. And dropping down 14 Division 2. So far, El Dorado looks like the cream of the crop in this one. Friday, the 8th ranked Eagles welcome Rock Springs to Larry Mitchell Stadium with the rival reigning defending champs Christoval looming next week. El Dorado still the only 11-man team left. They went on to win. Christoval picks up a 53-0 shutout on Friday over Menard as well. Miles would also pick up a win, 49-7. They move to 500 with that win. Coming up next, we go from the gridiron to the hardwood. Volleyball highlights coming up next.
We're always moving. Scratch that. We're always moving forward. But forward can sometimes look a little backwards. Or like circles. Or like nothing at all. But we never stop. We never stop. Because life never stops.
Call Bowles Heating and Cooling, your authorized Trane dealer.
It's a nice truck.
Yeah, it's a Chevy Silverado. Check out this multi-flex tailgate.
Multi-flex, huh? Wow.
Comes a step.
Mom, Dad's flexing again.
That's not all. You can extend the bed for longer stuff.
Is he
Still flexing.
That's right. And it becomes a workspace. You can put your laptop here. I'm sending an imaginary email.
Hey, Dad, dinner.
Hey, look who stopped by Daddy's office.
Wait, you work here?
The Chevy Silverado with the available multi-flex tailgate. Find new flexibility, find new roads. Chevrolet.
La Esperanza Clinic is mobilizing healthcare. La Esperanza Clinic is here to provide primary preventative health and dental care to all in the Concho Valley. And now they're coming to a community near you. From 9 a.m. to 4 p.m., they'll be in Broad, Texas, Miles, Texas, Robert Lee, Texas, Mertzen, Texas, Great Creek, Texas, and Christoval. To schedule an appointment or for more information, please call 325-658-5339.
Concho Valley homepage isn't just a website or an app in San Angelo. It's your connection to everything in the Concho Valley. From Wall to Christoval, Miles to Great Creek, people turn to Concho Valley homepage over 1 million times. With webcasts, push alerts, and website exclusives, all completely free, behind zero paywalls. ConchoValleyHomepage.com isn't just news for San Angelo. It's keeping you connected to the Concho Valley.
The path to the playoffs is underway in high school volleyball as everyone 6A on down is in district play. We start with a rivalry in District 2 6A. Central hosting district rival Abilene High. First set, Lady Cats off and running. Emily Sikora goes up and gets the tip back over the net. Central up 8-1 in the first. Later on in the opening set, Abilene trying to climb back. Peyton Mayberry gets the set and hammers home the kill from the middle. We go to the end of the first set. Mayberry once again from the corner. She gets herself another kill. Into the second, Central continues the good start. Another attack from the middle, this time from Morgan Strain. Central gets the win in just 4 sets, 3-1 over the Lady Eagles. Path to the playoffs continues. Sweetwater and Lakeview. First set, Maiden's out to a good start. Ava Valles spots that right between everybody. Maiden's up 6-2. Sweetwater would come right back. Big block. Michaela Wagner sets this one up. That one stayed close the entire set. Check out the play by Brandy Coward here. She gets the block and then hammers home the kill, doing everything for them. Set point in the first. Sweetwater's Jazzy Potts takes it into the net. Maidens win the opening set 25-23. However, Sweetwater would go on to win this one 3-1. District 7 2A volleyball, Water Valley hosting Very Best. First set, Very Best starts out on hot. Olivia Abbott sets it up for the Correa Blackwell kill. Then it's Abbott to Blackwell again. The two doing everything for the Lady Wildcats. Very Best opened up the set on a 14-5 lead. Water Valley would claw its way back. Ball gets away from Very Best. Kizzery Shields thrashes it home for the Lady Wildcat point. Look at that muscle. Now Water Valley only down 5. Kalina Flotz gets the block. The Ladies Wildcats would come back to even the set at 23 apiece. However, Very Best eventually closed it out, though. Here the ball gets away from Water Valley. Lady Falcons take the first set 25-23, go on to take the match in straight sets. Coming up, we take a look on the week that was, including homecoming for Angelo State.
Need to refresh your room in your home?
Yeah, have you seen this place?
Well, right now, you can get a look you love and save big during the home makeover sale at Furniture Row. Shop today because the more you buy, the more you save. Save $100 on every $1,000 you spend. You'll also find savings on every sofa, every dining table, and every bed. Plus 5 years no interest and free shipping.
I love it.
The home makeover sale on now at Furniture Row.
My car's making a really weird noise. It's like a ting, 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 ting.
Whether your vehicle's import or domestic, your car's not foreign here at Rick Henry's Auto Service. Come see us or click on the Expert tab on the Concho Valley homepage.
Think premium can't be capable? Think again. Introducing the first ever AT4 lineup. Premium and capable. That's professional grade from GMC. Or get $2,000 purchase cash on this 2021 Sierra Light Duty Crew Cab Texas Edition. Plus, current eligible GMC owners get an additional $250 purchase allowance. Visit Mitchell Buick GMC in San Angelo.
It's time again for the Teacher of the Week, sponsored by Concho Educators Federal Credit Union. Go to ConchoValleyHomepage.com and tell us how your teacher goes above and beyond. They could win great prizes, including a plaque from Angelo Awards, a teacher appreciation bag from Concho Educators, a gift card from Holiday Cleaners, a flower bouquet from Southwest Florist, a delicious cake from City Cafe and Bakery, and a gift certificate from the Original Henry's. Teacher of the Week is sponsored by Concho Educators Federal Credit Union. Go to ConchoValleyHomepage.com for more info.
I'll be seeing you in all the old familiar places.
Angelo State had a jam-packed week full of homecoming festivities, but the highlight of them all, Angelo State football game against conference foe UT Permian Basin, an opponent the Rams have had lots of success against. Angelo State looking to pick up their 5th win against UTPB. We pick things up at the end of the second quarter. Rams up 13-7. Zach Bronkhurst hooks up with C.J. Odom for the 4-yard touchdown. Rams go on top 20-7, which makes it even more exciting for homecoming crowd and ASU alum champ Mark Allen Stokely in the attendance. We take things to the third. Falcons have the ball. Clayton Roberts fumbles. Letty French there for the recovery. The homecoming festivities continue. Bronkhurst connects with Nate Omayabu to take a 20-point ball game. Then with about a minute left in the third, Bronkhurst muscles his way into the end zone. 34-7 Rams. Rams go on to win their 5th in a row. 34-14 will be back in home next week against Simon Fraser. As the temperatures begin to drop here in West Texas, that means fall sports season is quickly approaching. We're just about a month away from ASU men and women basketball returning to the Janelle Center. And on Saturday, fans got their first look of both the Rams and the Bells. Both teams having some fun there with their intros and got to have some fun with the crowd. Fans both young and old, and got to show off their three-point range between the two teams. Here's what new women's head coach Alicia Ellis had to say.
It's just a great way to connect with the fans and introduce who we are. We're going to have it, you know, we're going to be different. We're going to be different, and the more that they know about us, the more we connect with them, and we want the community to be involved with what we do, and we want to help them as much as we can and also produce on the court.
To the pitch, and there's nothing quite like an old-fashioned derby game. The Angelo State soccer team hosted 19th-ranked West Texas A&M. This one started an hour late, an 8 o'clock kickoff that didn't stop the Bells. 33 minutes in, Valerie Solis found the back of the net. That didn't stop there. Avery McNamee with the assist. 6 minutes later, Brianna Biddick found the back of the net from an assist from Nella Coleman. UT would cut the lead, but the Bells upset 19th-ranked West Texas A&M, and they now sit at 4-2-1. Coming off that win over West Texas A&M, they would go on the road and tie Texas A&M Commerce. That's a 2-2 tie. Sorry about that. Avery McNamee would score both goals for the Bells yesterday afternoon. The Bells volleyball team returned to the court for their longest layoff of the regular season. They would win it 3-1 over Texas Women's. And then on Saturday, they would take this one 3-1 against Dallas Baptist on Saturday. It's now time for Campo Crazies from the past week, the wild, the outrageous, the oh my goodness moments of the week. And in case you didn't know, the NHL back in action, and an opening week is continuing on. And Thursday, we were given possibly the goal of the year. Here's my hometown team, Tyler Bertuzzi, weaving through some defenders, the dangle, the snipe, and the Shelley. So good, we have to look at it again. If I did that in high school hockey, I probably wouldn't be here. But you know what? I'm happy to be here. We go to Madison Square Garden, where on Thursday night, Dallas Stars goaltender Braden Holtby goes post to post. Stars win that game 3-2. Staying on the ice. No, I promise this isn't hockey heavy, but also it feels good to be having hockey back. Jack Hughes dangles the goaltender and says, you know what? Someone else can have my hockey stick. That's okay. Lucky fan walked away with that. We go to some college football. History in the MAC. Gotta love some Maction football. That's Armani Rogers. He'll go 99 yards for the touchdown. Picks up a good block there. The Bobcats get the victory on Saturday. And finally, this one, this is, a bit much. On Friday night during Kentucky basketball, Big Blue Madness at Rupp Arena, that's the women's basketball coach, Kyra Elzy, making a dramatic appearance, rappelling from the rafters, and then her son steals the show, showing off some dance moves right there. How about that from the young fella? That's your Campo Crazy. Coming up, we take a look back on the week that was for the Cowboys. We'll be right back.
This is the Tempur-Pedic Breeze, and its mission is to make sleep feel cool. So no more night sweats, no more nocturnal baking, no high-blast ceiling fans, or polar ice cap air conditioner mode. Because the Tempur-Pedic Breeze delivers superior cooling from cover to core, helping you sleep cool all night long.
Save $300 on select Tempur-Pedic mattresses and get a $300 gift. Denver Mattress, the easiest way to get the right Tempur-Pedic.
Think premium can't be capable? Think again. Introducing the first ever AT4 lineup. Premium and capable. That's professional grade from GMC. Or get $2,000 purchase cash on this 2021 Sierra Light Duty Crew Cab Texas Edition. Plus, current eligible GMC owners get an additional $250 purchase allowance.
After the first 5 weeks of play, the Cowboys sitting at 4-1, riding a 4-game win streak, and are one of the best teams in the NFL. Dallas looking to make it 5 straight, against New England. We start in the first. Patriots up 7-0. Dak Prescott finds Blake Jarwin to tie things up at 7 apiece. Now we jump to the third quarter. Dallas down by 4 until Prescott connects with C.D. Lamb. Cowboys up 17-14. Then in the fourth quarter, Patriots up by 1. Former Bama quarterback Mac Jones throws an interception to his former teammate and good friend Trayvon Diggs. He takes it all the way to the house, put the Cowboys up 26-21. Now we go to overtime. Dak steps to the right, throws to the right. It's a wide open C.D. Lamb. That's your walk-off touchdown. Cowboys are 5-1, and they stay on top of the NFC East.
For 59 minutes and 40 seconds in regulation, the Cowboys were working to prove they were human. And then in the final 20 seconds of regulation and the first 6:08 of overtime, the Cowboys might have proven they're not human, coming up with a 35-29 victory over the New England Patriots for their first win at New England since 1987. And that happened to be in overtime also. Herschel Walker going 60 yards for a touchdown. Well, this time it was Dak Prescott throwing a 35-yard touchdown pass to C.D. Lamb, and it was a great call by Kellen Moore. The Cowboys went out in a 2 tight end set. C.D. Lamb was lined up to the left. He crossed over to the right, and the safeties for the New England Patriots came up on the tight ends, and they rushed 6 guys, and the Cowboys had a wide-open C.D. Lamb crossing the field. He beat Jalen Mills for the winning touchdown. He got pushed in the end zone. After he scored, he got up and waved bye-bye to Jalen Mills. For the Silver Star Nation, I'm Mickey Spagnola, right here at the Star.
And now it's time for our KLST Player of the Week. It's a player who plays a position that oftentimes doesn't get the love it deserves. The fullback position played by Isaiah Briones. Briones from Grape Creek ran for only 86 yards, but 2 big-time touchdowns for Grape Creek against Ballinger Friday night to push the Eagles to 2-0 in District 2-3A Division II, and in a position to control their own destiny come playoff time.
Player of the Week is sponsored by Linda's Pawn.
Our Dr. Pepper Trivia Challenge about the Coke County rivalry. When was the first time Robert Lee and Bront played? 1904, 1921, 1927, 1935. If you guessed 1927, you are correct. Our congrats are in order to Amy Lavaro. She got it right. Make sure to go to Concho Valley homepage to enter to win a gift card each and every week. Stars in Canada tonight. Matinee Sunday afternoon hockey to host as they take on the Senators. Here, just 5 minutes in, it's Alexander Radulov behind the net, finds Michael Raffle. Just like that, it's 1-0 Stars. However, the lead wouldn't last long. Initial shot blocked, then picked up by Nick Paul to tie the game up at 1. In the second, Ottawa leads 2-1 now. Sends on the power play. Chris Tierney bangs on the loose puck in front. 3-1 Ottawa. Late in the third, Stars trying to come back. The ageless wonder, Joe Pavelski, makes it a 1-goal game, but that would be as close as the Stars would get 3-2 the final. And that wraps up this episode of Season Pass. You can check out all of our content on ConchoValleyHomepage.com. Also, follow us on Twitter at KLST Sports. Make sure to use the hashtag Season Pass to stay in the conversation. We'll see everyone next week. Have a good night.